might you use EFT to just cope day to day if life is really stressful, like super crazy, scary, stressful? What if that's your normal day-to-day life? Well, that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video today. This is going to be helpful for you if you have found the pandemic to be particularly stressful and you haven't been able to relax. This video is also going to be helpful if you are somebody who feels threatened for any reason as a normal part of your life. So that might be because of the color of your skin and that you're facing racism issues every day. It could be because of your cultural ethnicity. It could be because of your religious background. It could be because of your gender. So you could be a woman who works in a very male-driven workplace or industry. Or it could be because of this current pandemic that has made your usually normal, not so stressful life feel very, very threatening. That's what I'm going to talk about in this video today. So it's helpful for all of those circumstances, and I want to make this as simple as possible. Now, you probably already know, if you know anything about EFT or tapping, that you can use it to change limiting beliefs, that you can use it to resolve past traumas, and you can use it to shoot towards like amazing goals, achieving goals, right? But you can also use it just to cope every day. You can use it as a resource to help you get through a difficult day or week or year, or for some people, a really difficult life. The key word that I want to introduce at this point is the word safety. What we really want, apart from those really wonderful lofty goals of like feeling loved and actualize our life purpose, is we want to feel safe. Our physical body wants to feel safe, and it needs to feel safe before we can achieve any of those lofty, wonderful goals that we might be shooting for. So let's talk a little bit about your nervous system. I promise that won't be too complicated. There are two parts to your autonomic nervous system, which is like your automatic nervous system. There is the stress part. The sympathetic nervous system is your stress, kicks into gear your stress response. So fight, fly, freeze. There's also several other words. Most of them start with F, usefully. So if some of you will have a default when there is a threat that you fight. Some of you will have a default when there is a threat that you fly, that you run away from that, you escape from that. And if it feels really bad, if one of those two, your system says it's not going to work, then you'll automatically default into the freeze response. So freeze is something that's really commonly seen. We talk about it as like deer in the headlights, right? It's that stunned freeze. Maybe if I stay totally still, the thing that's threatening me will leave me alone or think that I'm not worth pursuing, or whatever the case may be, right? So your body has an automatic way of dealing with threats to your physical body. Yeah. Now, your system, your body cannot work out the difference between a real threat and a perceived threat. So it's really common for people when they are afraid of speaking in public, in front of groups, that they'll stand up on stage or they'll stand in front of a group of people, and it may only be 3 people, or it might be 30, or it might be 300, or it might be 30,000, but they stand up and then they freeze and they can't remember any of the things that they were going to say, right? So that freeze response is a stress response because their body can't work out whether or not there is a real threat. Are these people going to throw stones at them and kill them? As was something that has happened to many of our ancestors, right? That still lives on in the body. So our job as human beings trying to navigate a difficult day or week or month or year or life is to use our clever brains to ask ourselves the question, is there a real threat here? Because if there is no real threat, Your job is to help yourself find a sense of safety again, however you need to do that. Now, there are lots of ways to do it. I'm, of course, a fan of tapping. And the way that I would do this is as soon as I realize, oh, there's not an actual real threat here. You know, that person who's called me that name can't actually penetrate and damage this body. So even though it feels scary, even though I feel really unsafe, my job is to tap and calm myself down. And if you know all the points, you can tap your way through the points, or you can just tap whatever's convenient, right? You can tap in here, except you can't see my eyes when I do that, right? Now, if you are somewhere where you can't escape the person who is saying awful things to you, so you've identified, okay, they don't have a knife, they don't have a gun, then they're not going to use their fist to punch me up, they're not going to do something else to trap me or hurt me, but they are saying awful things. Can you turn the other direction and tap? Can you use the situation, the circumstance of like, oh, I just have to go to the bathroom, something that's totally legitimate and normal in our society, and then you just tap while you're in the bathroom with clean hands, please. So your main job, really, after you've worked out that there is no actual real physical threat to your body, and if there is, please get the hell out of there, however you need to do it. But once you've worked out that there's no actual real physical threat, then your job is to find a sense of calm and safety again. So you can do it through tapping. If you are somewhere where you're in a meeting that you can't escape, or you're in a classroom, or you're in you're in a space where you can't leave, you can rub the collarbone points. So the collarbone points, I've got another video explaining where all the points are, so it might be helpful for you to go and watch that one. But if you look for where your collarbones come in, and then you're just looking just a little bit underneath there, if in doubt, use lots of fingers. It's always a good rule. And you can always just rub one side or both. Just pretend you're like playing with your top. And if you don't do it in a really big way, I mean, somebody can be looking at you and not even realize you're doing it because they're listening to the words you're saying, or whatever the case may be. So you can rub and do lots of like sneaky things in the background, but it is so important for you to prioritize finding a sense of safety again. As soon as you realize there is no physical threat to your body, prioritize finding safety again. Here's why. The other branch of your autonomic nervous system is called the parasympathetic. The parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for resting, repairing, recovering, rejuvenating, also digesting your food, which then supports all of those other systems. If you want to relax, if you want to feel safe, you have to be triggering, you have to be allowing the parasympathetic nervous system to be driving your body, to be driving the system. And EFT and, other things, going for a walk somewhere you feel safe, patting a pet, cuddling somebody or getting a hug from somebody who you feel really safe in your relationship with them, dancing to music that you like, doing something that helps you to feel safe. And if you can do it in connection with another person who feels safe, even better. But that is what's going to get the parasympathetic system to be driving again. And that's how you can improve your overall health, your overall vitality, your overall ability to cope with whatever is challenging or difficult in your life today, this week, this month. Or if you are somebody who does have challenges because of the makeup of your life, the color of your skin, your gender, your ethnicity, your religious background, or anything else that I haven't thought of through my lens and my body, then using this mindfulness technique of like finding safety again and again and again is probably one of the best coping mechanisms, best coping tools or resources, but it's also going to be super helpful for the better functioning of your life, for the better functioning of your work, your relationships, your health, and all of those things that you might want to achieve, of the amazing goals and the living out your life purpose and the feeling loved and adored. All of that, all of it sits on a foundation of feeling safe. So if you want to cope better in your life now, next week, next year, moving forward, if your life for any reason has more threats and experiences of not feeling safe than other people might experience, then prioritize finding a sense of safety again and again and again. Just like you feed yourself when you're hungry, just like you drink water when you feel thirsty. Find safety and build that sense of safety. And when you lose it, go find it again. And when you lose it again, go find it again. That's my invitation to you. Prioritize finding safety. You will endlessly lose it again and again and again. And you can use this process to help you feel safe more often and to continue to build a life that works better and better. I hope that's helpful. All my love. Bye.